started?
Yeah, let's get started. Okay. So, okay. So we know that blockchain is a buzzword, right? And if we have to explain it to someone, maybe if you want to say explain it to maybe a child, think of your own nephew or niece or your own child if you have one, or maybe one of your younger siblings. You could perhaps even think of explaining it to a non-tech savvy person like your grandma. Imagine your own grandma who lives in a village or one of the smaller towns outside Berlin or perhaps somewhere else in the world. You could also even think of explaining it to your own pet. Take it a bit further down, right? The notch. Your pet understands you, but can it understand blockchain? But then we thought that if you could explain blockchain to all of them, perhaps the most challenging person to explain blockchain to would be someone. And if we can explain blockchain to this person, we could explain blockchain to anyone on this planet. And as you might have already guessed it, the person we have in mind is Donald Trump. Now the challenge is, if you have to explain blockchain to Donald Trump, you have to do so through a medium that he actually understands. And what better medium than his own Twitter account? Something which he uses very regularly, is very familiar with, and is totally in love with. Now, although Mr. Trump, we know that Twitter is not the same without you, your account has a central point of failure. Now, what do we mean by a central point of failure? What if you have an accident and you're incapacitated from tweeting and your followers cannot see any of your tweets? Wouldn't that be a catastrophe? What if evil Hillary or Mr. Putin take over your account and spread fake news? And we know, Mr. President, Mr. Trump, that you are a man of the highest intelligence. But as you yourself have pointed out in the past, centralized institutions do tend to take a lot of bad decisions. And you yourself have been one of their biggest critics. As a centralized institution yourself today, you yourself are facing a lot of critics for your own views. Now, Mr. Trump, how do we make your Twitter account more resilient to attacks? How do we make it less dependent on you? Well, we have a solution. It's TweetChain, a decentralized Trump Twitter account. It's also censorship resistant, it's not controlled by anyone, and it's just absolutely great. So now you might wonder, if not you, who manages your Twitter account? Well, perhaps you might think maybe your wife, or your daughter, or one of your sons, but you will still face the same problem of centralization. So then we thought, perhaps the best people to actually control your account are none other than your own supporters, the people who really, really love you. Now, how would this work? So, each supporter of yours on the tweet chain would have a full copy of the entire tweet history from your Twitter account. And this tweet history can be continually extended by adding new tweets to the tweet chain. Now, this updated version of the Twitter copy that each and every supporter of yours has on the tweet chain is what we in Bitcoin and blockchain call as the shared ledger. Now, you might also wonder, why would actually someone take the trouble to contribute to TweetChain? Well, besides the fact that they really, really love you, we have also thought through this. So we have an inbuilt incentive mechanism within TweetChain. Every time someone submits a tweet and which is added to the tweet chain, they get endless Trump recognition. Now, what does endless Trump recognition look like?
Is one of the finest human beings you will ever have the privilege of knowing or meeting.
So imagine, every time a tweet is added to the tweet chain, your supporters get to hear this. Isn't that just great? Now this recognition...
The finest...
Wow, it's stuck. Now this recognition is what we call as block reward. Every time someone submits a tweet to the tweet chain, they earn a recognition, a reward.
So, Mr. Trump, we've been saying that TweetChain is decentralized, it's not controlled by anyone. So what if, apart from your beloved supporters, some of your most evil enemies start contributing to TweetChain? What if CNN becomes the main maintainer of your Twitter account and spreads fake news? That would be terrible, right? So how do we make TweetChain resilient to malicious attacks by bad actors in the network? How do we protect TweetChain from these types of attacks? Or more specifically, how do we prevent evil Hillary from accumulating fake Trump supporters that use TweetChain to spread fake news? How do we make TweetChain resilient to these attacks? Well, Mr. Trump, obviously we've thought about that as well, right? So in order to add a new tweet to TweetChain, you need to provide a proof that you are a real Trump supporter, the proof of Trump unique support. Now, you might wonder, what is this proof of Trump unique support? It's a costly action that only a real Trump supporter would get. Now, what might that be? Well, very simple. A Trump tattoo. So every time you want to submit a new tweet to TweetChain, you need to get a new Trump tattoo, you need to take a picture of it, and you need to submit that picture along with your tweet. Only then will you be allowed to contribute to TweetChain. And by the way, there's already some rumors spreading of some tattoo farms and tattoo pools emerging that provide cheap Trump tattoos. So, Mr. Trump, obviously it seems that our incentive mechanism is working really well. Now, with this proof of Trump unique support, you will immediately realize that evil Hillary is never going to be able to accumulate fake Trump supporters because they will get no Trump tattoos, right? And this is how we protect TweetChain from being taken over by malicious attacks. So, Mr. Trump, this is the concept that in Bitcoin and blockchain we call the proof of work. A heavy action that you need to take that prevents bad actors from taking over your network. So now you're a Trump supporter, you have fought hard, you've gotten your nice little tattoo, and you have successfully added your amazing tweet to TweetChain. Now the last thing you want is that someone copies that tweet and resubmits it, or that you resubmit the same tweet twice. So you want your tweet to be controlled by you, and you want it to be unique. So how do we prevent double tweets in TweetChain? Well, Mr. Trump, obviously we thought about that as well, right? So every time someone submits a tweet to TweetChain, every Trump supporter in the network will verify that that tweet is unique and that the proof of Trump unique support provided by it is real as well. And only when there is agreement among all these Trump supporters in the network that your tweet is real and legit, only then will your tweet be added to the TweetChain. And once it's added to TweetChain, it's etched into stone and it's there forever. It's a piece of art, it's a monument, you can be proud of it because no one is ever going to be able to modify it anymore. Because you immediately realize if you do want to modify that tweet, you would have to go into each individual Trump supporter copy on TweetChain and delete that tweet from there. And that's pretty much impossible given the tremendous amount of supporters you have, Mr. Trump, right? And by the way, this is also what prevents evil Hillary from messing around with your tweets, right? So, Mr. Trump, we have now explained to you the concept of double spend prevention and consensus in Bitcoin. And by now, you have understood how you can use blockchain to move from centralized Twitter, which obviously has some risks, as we pointed out, to decentralized and more resilient TweetChain by using a shared ledger maintained by your beloved Trump supporters that are incentivized to contribute to that ledger because they can earn endless Trump recognition, for which they need to provide the proof of Trump unique support in a system that prevents double tweets and is in continuous agreement. So, Mr. Trump, now that you understand the basics of Bitcoin and blockchain, you can start finally going down the blockchain rabbit hole. However, Mr. Trump, we warn you, be careful. If you start going down that rabbit hole, life will never be the same again because you will see things with different eyes. and you might get stuck in that blockchain rabbit hole forever. Thank you.
Thank you.